$101 for GTA 6! With cheese, Mr. Squidward, with cheese!
A part of me knew this was gonna happen, but it doesn't make it any less disappointing. I still remember it like it was yesterday when the liberal cartoon community sent its hate mob to harass me for speaking the truth about Nintendo's predatory business model and the morons who support it. It's a reoccurring problem with the video game industry as a whole. Everyone is overpricing their games and consoles these days, and in the worst cases, they deliberately block content behind a paywall with the excuse of it being part of an early access pre-order bonus or season pass. Remember when a fighting game had the entire roster on the disc and you unlocked all the fighters progressively as a reward for actually playing the game? Now they do shit like yearly passes, forcing you to pay an additional $60 just for the full experience. It was something I knew about for years and tried to bring light to the subject in my Switch 2 video, as well as my PS5 Pro video, and since the last time I talked about it, it somehow got even worse. Being a gamer is almost as hard as trying to buy a house these days. You can't even enjoy a pastime hobby anymore thanks to the constant fuck-ups of the US government. And who's jumping on the pissing me off bandwagon now? Why, it's the lovely dick horses at Rockstar and Valve. But oh, how can you say anything bad about them? Rockstar is responsible for some of the best games of all time, and Valve is part of the PC master race proving console gaming is inferior. Simple. They're both con artists trying to rip you out of your hard-earned breach. Personally, I was never behind the hype for GTA 6. If it was anything like the build-up was making it out to be, it was gonna be just another obnoxiously large open-world game with pretentious side quests where the main story takes like 15% of the content. It's not like it was even that impressive. It's just another driving around a large city while getting involved in the crime world simulator we've seen in hundreds of other games. Well, okay, maybe it's just not for me. At least the GTA fans will appreciate it. That is until they announce not only were they gonna neglect to sell physical copies of the game in favor of the future of digital only, but then they told us straight to our faces that they were going to actively block content that's already on the game's file unless you're willing to fork up an additional $40. Another bullshit season pass scenario. Arkham Knight did it, every fighting game from the last 10 years did it, Final Fantasy 15 did it. Heck, these are just from the top of my head. Hundreds of games have done this for the last 11 years. And you might be thinking, oh well, what's so special about GTA doing it? Because it's GTA! The game franchise that sells more copies on launch date than most games sell in their entire lifetimes. It has a large dedicated fan base that will pay anything for their next game no matter how bullshit. The success of this game will be extremely harmful, because it's gonna further enable this disgusting predatory behavior in the gaming industry. At first they were at least trying to hide it, but now they're actively saying to our faces, fuck you, give us money, just for a complete experience that back in the day would have only cost $50 or $60. Why don't you just take my furniture while you're at it? A full video game should not cost people $100. Heck, they're arguably doing it right now. Honestly, I just feel so stupid right now for taking the 80s, 90s, and 2000s gaming eras for granted. Because at least back then you could actually afford a video game and its console. Now you have to beat the shit out of people while paying an entire month of paychecks just to have one. I'm just really trying to ignore modern games these days because it's become far too costly. And GTA 6 succeeding in spite of this bullshit out in the open corruption is gonna result in other developers following suit. But if you think that was bad, ho ho ho, wait until you see what Valve did to the Steam machine. Now the whole PC Master Race meme has been a thing for as long as anyone can remember. Sure, a lot of PC ports are unplayable trash at launch, but that doesn't stop them from claiming it's the future, and that console gaming is for those old dinosaurs who can't get with the times. Sure, they have accessibility features and mods you can't replicate on consoles, but it always felt like more console warbaiting instead of actually encouraging PC gaming. But the tides would turn as Valve announced their first ever console to truly put the big three out of business. The Steam machine. Everyone has been excited for this one. Even I was curious about how this one would turn out. A video game console that has all the power and accessibility options of a PC, while offering a wider library than traditional consoles. What gamer wouldn't jump at the opportunity to have one of those? But then it was announced that consoles were gonna cost more money because of that stupid investment into AI. You know, the thing that can't even get the number of fingers on a human hand right? Well, sure, this might impede the big three, but surely this wouldn't have an effect on the Steam machine, right? Right?
Wrong.
Not too long ago, Valve shadow dropped the price, and it was just as horrifying as you'd expect. Let's see, the base form version is gonna be, oh well, that's not so bad, it's only $1,050 for less than a terabyte of space? Holy shit! I thought the PS5 Pro was awful. What the spaceport is this nonsense? And they have the nerve to say you still have to buy the controller separately, and it's $100 fucking dollars? What kind of Mr. Krabs, Scrooge McDuck, Doug Dimmadome bullshit am am I looking at here? Over $1,000 for a console that doesn't even clock in at 600 gigabytes of space, and a controller that costs the same amount of money as a phone bill. Oh, but it gets even better, because if you want a 2 terabyte version, you have to pay $1,350. And guess what? That's still without the controller. You know the phrase it'll cost you an arm and a leg to buy one of these? Well, now it's costing your genitals too. You could buy this 1-Up Simpsons arcade machine with stool and razor for less money than this ripoff of a cube. It is actively predatory for Valve to do this when they already have a lot of people choosing them over traditional console gaming. They are actively abusing their fans by asking for this kind of money just to have a better gaming experience. Never mind the fact that Steam is already a widely used and successful platform. We need to scam our supporters by forcing them to give up food just to play some games. And you know what's worse? I literally predicted that this would happen. Just sell the console without a controller as a sick joke. I could buy the original trilogy of Ho and Pokemon games right now on eBay Market for less money. I could buy a Nintendo Switch 2 and all of its accessories and still have money left over for the amount they're asking for this ripoff. And that's still with no controller. Do you know how bad you have to be for me to willingly choose the Switch 2 over you? This is exactly why our economy is fucked. I said in my Switch 2 video that people who support Nintendo's predatory business model deserve to go into debt. Well, anyone who supports Rockstar and Valve's predatory business model needs to be lit on fire. Because this is somehow 20 times worse. No human being worth respecting is going to pay $100 for a launch title, or $1,350 for a console with no controller. This is the future we've been warned about for years, and now it's actually here. Just fuck both of these studios for this horse shit. Gaming is supposed to cost money, sure, but not this much money. It's supposed to be an affordable hobby like collecting plushies or riding a bike, or staring at the ceiling as you slowly spiral into madness. It's not supposed to cost a trip to Disney World. Sometimes I think about what could have happened to get us to this point. Before the 2010s, gaming was an easily accessible way to relax and stimulate your brain while taking your mind off of school. It was a fun hobby to share with family members as you ruin friendships with Mario Party, or beat the shit out of childhood icons in Smash Bros. Now it feels like gaming is slowly turning into this capitalist trend that only the elite of human society are allowed to enjoy, like privileged YouTubers, or politicians who use their wealth to avoid charges for sexual abuse. If you're a kid growing up in the 2020s and you want to play video games, good luck getting your parents to buy you a Switch or Xbox in an economy where you have to get kicked in the nuts just to get a carton of milk. Money makes the world go round, as the old saying goes, but do you know what makes the money go round? Companies profiting off the suffering of the lower and middle class. It hasn't stopped, it is never going to stop, and the AI bubble taking its sweet ass time to pop is just making it more unbearable. I just wanted to go back to making videos about movies, but instead I had to torture myself with another gaming inflation situation just for this video. I can feel my brain frying from the sheer insanity of it, and it's served with a side of immeasurable disappointment. So until next time, fuck both Valve and Rockstar. Just stare at the ceiling as you slowly sink into madness. You'll save money, and you'll probably thank yourself for it later.